Well, hello, it's Christie from Crafty Christie's Creations, and today we are going to be working with this coffee design here. If you're catching this in January of 2021, this is the file that is part of the craft challenge, and I will put a link below so that you can join in on that challenge. Otherwise, if you're outside of our January 2021 challenge window, I will put a link in there where you could purchase this file if you're interested. So I'm going to go through here and show you what I'm going to use this file for as part of my craft challenge. And I'm going to turn it into a greeting card. So I am going to start with this one right here. And then what I'm going to do is duplicate a copy above. And then what I'm going to do with that copy is I am going to, let's just take this copy and I'm just going to come over to Object and I'm going to rotate it. And I'm going to rotate it 180 degrees. So now you can see that those two copies are going to touch. So this is going to be a top opening card, okay? And then I'm going to grab and make one more copy of this so that I can start working on what my front of my card is going to look like. So I'm just going to hold down Alt or Option on a Mac. You can see I get that plus sign. I'm going to click and drag. Let's put it over here. So I'm going to take these and I'm actually going to work off of my mat so that way I have a little more space here. So I'm going to move those up here and I'm going to zoom out using my little arrows up here. I do this a lot when I'm creating, that way you're not limited by the amount of space. And then I'm just going to use my little hand here and I'm going to zoom in on the area that I'm working. Okay, so this is going to be the card base and this is going to be the front of my card. And now we're going to work on turning this into a couple of different layers so that way we can layer it up and make it look really pretty. So what I'm going to do next is I want to make the cuff for it. So I'm just going to come over here and I'm going to draw a rectangle and I think that's probably a good size. And I'm going to zoom in here. I'm holding Control and the plus sign on my keyboard. Let's just get that kind of centered up there. We'll grab both of these and I'm going to align them center sideways. Okay, and you can see it doesn't quite fit. So the next thing I'm going to do is double tap on that. And you can see now we get the points and we can manipulate the points. So I'm going to take this one out to the very edge. And this one I'm going to take out to the very edge. And this one I'm going to bring in to the edge here. And same with this one, I'm going to bring it in to the edge. So now that's going to be my little cuff that goes around it. And I can click off of that. And let's go ahead and give this a color so we know what we're working with here. And I'm going to turn that brown. Okay. Okay. So you have to click on things and then you can zoom in. So Control and plus. So the next one I'm going to do is work on doing this top piece here. And how I'm going to do that is I'm going to come and grab a rectangle. And I'm going to fit it to about the size that I want. Looks like it needs to be a little bit wider to fit all of those pieces. Okay, and then I'm going to fill this in with a color. Doesn't matter what color it is. And then I'm going to grab this one and I'm going to grab that one. And then I'm going to come over to my modify panel and I'm going to hit divide. And then what that does, now I can get rid of this out piece and you can see now I have this purple piece that it perfectly fits. And I'm going to just make a copy of it. We can just right click copy, right click again, paste in front. Now, if I move that, see I've got 2 copies. I'm going to undo that move, Control Z. I'm going to take one of those copies and holding down Shift, I'm going to grab that bottom piece and I'm going to weld those together. And then I can take that and send it to the back. And now I've got a couple layers here. And with this one, I'm going to double tap and I'm going to look at my points. And I'm actually going to delete a couple of these points because I want it up right at the curve. So I'm going to come to this side, delete that point. There, that looks better. Looks like I might be able to delete one more over here. Let's get rid of that one. And that's how you can tell if you've deleted too many, so you can hit Control and Z to undo. So now if we lift that, you can see it's perfectly straight across, which is exactly what we want. Okay, so now I've got my lid and I've got my little banner piece here. And that is looking pretty good. So now I just have to decide what I want to do with this. And what I think I'm going to do is put a little text on here. We're going to say, thanks a latte. And I'm just going to give this a color so I can see what I'm doing. And then I'm going to pick the font that I want. Yeah, I'm going to leave it with that. This is Delaney font. So again, with your words, you know, I'm going to do one word at a time because I want to actually mess with this a little bit more. I'm going to give it a point value to the outline because I want it to be a little bit thicker. And then if I come over here to my text style panel, I can change my line spacing, and I'm going to bring that. You know what? I think I'm just going to do thanks. And then I'm going to hit text again. And then I'm going to do a latte. And then for this one, I'm going to do Delaney Sands. And I'm going to make that a lot smaller. And I like to fit it right in there, so it needs to be much smaller. And then let's fill that in with blue as well. Okay, that one probably doesn't need quite as much fill. Let's see what happens if we give it a point value as well here, just to thicken it up a little bit. And then if I can grab that one and I can come over to my modify panel and I'm going to weld that. And then I'm going to make that a compound path. And now that is fixed. And then this thanks word, I'm going to weld that one. And you can see all the lines. So now it's one complete line there. And then I'm going to make that a compound path. And that looks better. All right, so let's grab both of these and I'm going to put that down here on this. So I'm going to have to make it a bit smaller And if I hold down the Alt key as I shrink, it's going to shrink from both directions at the same time. And you have to let go of your key before you let go of your text to make it hold where you want it. Let's see if we can make it a little bit bigger. There, that looks pretty good. And then I'm just going to grab that and I'm going to center that across and up and down. Okay, that looks good. All right, so this will be my front panel. And then what I want to do is make an inside layer here, and I'm just going to make it kind of this base piece. So I'm going to come over to my rectangle tool again, and I'm just going to draw my rectangle. And if we just let's Control Z, undo that move. I want this rectangle, and I'm just going to tap that over a little bit. So that's about where I want it. Okay, so let's zoom in on that rectangle. And of course that zooms in too much, so we're going to zoom out a little bit. There, okay. And now we're going to go back to double tap, and we're going to do our point manipulation here. So this time, in order to get them to be the same on both sides, I'm just going to use my arrow keys and tap them where I want them to be. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think looks good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then these ones are going to come in. Oh, and looks like there's more than one there, so I'm going to delete. We should only have 4 points. There we go. And this one we're going to go in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That looks good. This one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I think that looks pretty good. So now let's grab that, and I'm just going to give it a white color. So that's where I'm going, you can write your sentiment on the inside. And then I'm just going to grab both of these here, and I want to make sure that those are centered. And I'm just going to hit this center button to center them together. And it doesn't need to be centered up at the top, so now I'm just going to bring it back down kind of where I want it, but at least now I know that it's centered within my design. Okay, that looks good. Let's go up a little. And you can see that it, I probably didn't center it before I started. This side doesn't look quite as correct as the other side, so I'm going to double tap again, and I'm just going to take this one in. 1, 2, 3, 4 more. That looks a little better. Okay, now I'm going to come over to my line here, and I'm going to put a line right here in the center. I'm going to hold down the Shift key to make that a nice straight line. And then I'm going to take that line and I'm going to turn it, I usually do a blue color to be my score line. And then I'm going to take this piece and this piece, so I'm holding down Shift to grab both of those, and then I'm going to weld those together. So back to my modify panel and hit weld. So now I've got the top and the bottom of my card base are welded together, so they're one piece. And then I've got my score line here. I can grab and see if I move that. That is my score line. Okay, so that looks pretty good. And then this will be the front of my card. And then what I want to do, I can either leave this like it is, or I think I'm like the idea of cutting this out of the little brown piece, and then it'll show this color through. So now what I'm going to do is hold down my brown piece, hold down Shift, grab my Thanks a Latte, and then I'm going to hit subtract. And it got rid of my thanks, and now I'm going to hold down a latte. And looks like we might need to scoot our a latte over a bit. So I kind of wanted it in. I think that'll be okay there. And we'll grab that one, and we're going to hit subtract. So, you've got that little dot here in the A's. Those are obviously not going to stay in place, and neither is your little A or these little pieces here. So what we can do is we can go in and we can put a little bridge between those little letters. Or if you want to be super meticulous, you can leave it like it is, and you can just glue those little pieces back into place. So what I'm going to do is I want to zoom in on this some more. And I'm just going to delete these little pieces here. And I'm just going to click on the point, and I'm just going to hit delete on my keyboard. Some of those tiny ones I'm not even going to bother trying to fix because they're too tiny. And this one's probably really too tiny as well. So again, double tap, and I'm just hitting delete, delete until I get rid of all those. And now these letters here, I think I can just place those back in to hold those in place. So now if we take my card front here, and if I change that and I want to make that a nice red color, and you can see that we're not quite perfect on this guy. So I'm going to grab my little piece here and I'm going to tap that over. I'm going to get that pretty darn close to perfect. I think that looks better. And then, you know what? I have my red lines on. I'm going to get rid of the line color on that. And that'll help us know. Let's zoom back out. I don't usually have this much trouble zooming in and out of things, but now, so maybe let's not make this red. Let's do it like that. So now you can see we've got a nice good flush line there. And these little red lines is because I didn't add those together. So these are all going to have little red lines. So I can come in here and grab these. It doesn't matter that I have the red on there, but I can get rid of the line color on there and then grab that one. And then I can come over to my modify panel again, and I can make that a compound path. And now when I move that, it's all going to move together. I'm just going to put that back in place. So I've got my lid here. We can make that white. And that looks a little bit more like a cute little coffee cup, doesn't it? So we've got our little coffee cup here, and I'm just going to zoom out a smidge. So this will be the front that we're going to lay on top of this piece, and this will be our inside part here. And then I can just write a little greeting on there. And what I'm also going to do is grab some of my beans here. And I'm going to come up here and say bring to front. And I'm going to put that right on here. We're going to bring that size down quite a bit. And I am going to do one of each color here. We'll bring that to front as well. not one of each color. These little beans are made a little bit differently, so I'm just going to do one of each. Let's see, how do I want to put these here? Okay, so then I can turn this part here into a print and cut, and let's make these beans. I'm going to shift and select both of them, and let's make both of those a brown color. And then let's make my whole card, I don't know, what's a good coffee cup color? I guess I can make it this pink color, and then it'll kind of match with that. Okay, so that is going to be my little design here. So the other thing I wanted to point out about this file, you've got these little steam pieces here, and then there's also just some solid parts in case you wanted to take these and overlap them and do 2 different shades of brown, or kind of whatever you want to do. I tried to make this pretty versatile so that you have multiple options, and I can't wait to see what you are going to make for this craft challenge. So remember, to sign up for the craft challenge, go to craftychristiescreations.com/craft challenge. And I will see you later. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, click like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any future Silhouette Studio tutorials. Until next time, with love, Crafty Christie.